How convenient. Turkey prices reach record highs as Thanksgiving nears. Fox Business, or actually, I'm sorry, New York Post headline. We've seen this and heard about this from other outlets. Turkey prices are 57% higher than they were 5 years ago on average. Americans will be facing a record high cost for traditional Thanksgiving turkey this fall because of inflation and a shortage caused by bird flu outbreaks. This is part of what we were talking about previously, and the supply chain and production and ultimately the cycle and how long it takes for us to feel the impacts and effects of some of the news events that were happening previously this year. The cost of turkey hens, the bird that most often appears on Thanksgiving dinner tables, is currently up 57% compared to its 5-year average, according to market data from research firm Erner Berry, cited by the Wall Street Journal. This is important information, especially if you plan on putting together a Thanksgiving meal, having family, friends over for the holiday. Part of what I was talking about in previous videos about how we're going to see a decline this holiday season. It's not just Christmas. Prices are going up. Inflation is through the roof. We have shortages that are ultimately hurting our supply chain. Demand is going to be high. Supply is going to be limited. And these retailers are going to capitalize on that. Now, the question you have to ask is this primarily food-based or is this profit-based? As prices have hit their highest level on record, turkey breast meat has surged to a record of more than $6.50 per pound this year. The same cut cost less than $2 per pound in 2020. And it says that turkey supplies are lower than normal this year due to a severe bird flu outbreak that has hampered production across 39 states. Through August, the outbreak has affected approximately 40.57 million turkeys across the U.S., according to the U.S. Agriculture Department, with more exposures expected during a period of even higher demand. Turkey production is slated to be 7% lower in the third quarter of 2022 than it was in the same period last year. And, if we are working on anything, if our government's working on anything, politicians are working on passing and proposing new bills and new laws, perhaps maybe they should focus on ways to protect and improve our food supply, as turkey is not just only for Thanksgiving, and the bird flu outbreak, pandemic, so to speak, has more of an impact on everyone's ability to eat than just having a Thanksgiving meal. Recent bird flu outbreaks at farms in Minnesota and California threatened to exacerbate the supply chain ahead of this year's holiday. Industry analysts told the Journal, and Jim Snee, the boss of one key supplier, Hormel Foods, said during an earnings call Thursday that the firm was facing significant challenges. Let's highlight that. Significant challenges, including persistent upstream and downstream supply chain disruptions and limited turkey supply. And what's important here is you guys realize that they said this is not over. This can continue to, let's see how they put it. Let's see where they put it. Turkey production, with more exposures expected during a period of even higher demand. So the bird flu outbreak is not over. They're expecting more exposures. They're expecting a further reduction in supply, and ultimately an increase in cost to the consumer. Expect higher prices on the shelves if you can even find the birds. Sales volume for the firm's JENNIE-O turkey store brand dropped by 20% in the most recent quarter and is projected to fall by 30% in the current quarter. And this is not a reduction in buyer interest and consumer demand. It's a reduction in supply, and a reduced supply will force these companies to have these stores to have drop sales, lower sales volume. And it says, according to the Wall Street Journal, lower industry-wide turkey supplies are expected to keep prices high. And this is from Hormel Foods' Chief Financial Officer, Meanwhile, supermarkets are unlikely to receive their usual shipments of turkeys ahead of the holiday, and the birds that do reach shelves will be priced higher than normal. Retailers are, and this is a quote from Erner Berry, he told the outlet, retailers are not getting what they want, they are getting what is available. And that should be something that we should all be focused on, is that as a consumer, as a shopper, we are probably going to be in the same boat, only going to be able to access what is available, not what you want. Household budgets have been under severe pressure for months as inflation has swelled, with even basic items rising to prices not seen in decades. As the Post reported in July, loaves of artisanal bread hit $10 in some grocery stores during a global wheat shortage. So that's just kind of like a precursor of what to expect out of this turkey shortage as a result of the bird flu. And inflation moderated slightly in July, falling to 8.5%. The better than expected consumer price index reading fueled optimism that inflation may have hit its peak. But what you got to understand here is that even if inflation has hit its peak and we find ourselves in situations of shortage, that's going to further drive up the price. So it's not necessarily inflation at that point. It's just an increase in price as a result of reduced supply and intense and increased exponentially growing demand. And the retailers, the sellers, the stores, the businesses, these companies, they realize that if they're going to make enough money to stay in business, they have to charge more for the few items that they have for sale. So just a heads up, just forewarning of what's to come. And yeah, we're not going to cover any of these articles up here at the top. Courtney Cleany's lawyer doesn't want well, yeah, I don't even know what that one's about. So Steve Jobs' model daughter Eve pokes fun at new iPhone. Apple just announced their latest updates. New Apple Watch is coming, and I think a new iPhone 14 update came out yesterday. But even Apple lowered their prices on their products with the new iPhone 14, and the new Apple Watches coming in lower price than what the previous generations are going out for. And I don't think that Apple has any issues, and that's, in comparison to these turkeys and food and high prices and shortages at grocery stores, I don't think Apple has any issues, any mass problems getting the raw materials that they need to produce their products. But they do realize that the shoppers and consumers are going to be less likely to spend the money on these high priced luxuries and wants in comparison to having higher costs on needs at the grocery store. So Apple, in my opinion, is pushing their product hard, and they're lowering the price to move them so that they don't sit, as consumers just don't really have the disposable income like they once did, nor the confidence in the economy to just shell out thousands of dollars for these watches, these Apple Watches and these iPhones and things like that. But we're going to keep an eye on this, continue to monitor, and I'll bring you guys another update real soon if I see any new developments on turkey production, turkey availability, turkey prices, turkey shortages, and other foods and necessities and other items on the shelves that could be coming up missing soon, and see grossly inflated and marked up prices as we roll into this holiday season. You guys take care, be safe. See you real soon.